Morning, everyone. So we've continued to improve our knife. We've added the fire steel and a little pouch and everything to put some survival goodies and everything like that. A little jute twine on the back for a fire starter. Now, hopefully, I say hopefully, none of us will ever be in an actual survival situation where you're stuck. You know, you're out and something's happened. But that's not the little game that we like to play with ourselves, is it? We'll be at Cabela's or REI, walking up and down the aisles, and we start seeing all the neat little goodies and things, and our mind starts to wander a little bit. I know for me, I'm always paddling down a river somewhere, and maybe my canoe hit a rock, and I've crawled out onto the bank just in time to see my canoe and all my supplies go over a waterfall, and everything's gone. But I look down, and at my side, my knife is still, on my belt, and with it, all of its little survival contents. So with that in mind, what do we put in this little pouch and on the knife? So for me, you always hear people talk about shelter, water, food. Without shelter, you die. Without water, you die. Without food, you die. And there's a certain amount of time associated with everything. So we want to avoid dying. That's the idea. We want to survive long enough to be saved or rescued or what have you. So on the inside of mine, the first issue is shelter. So this is one of those space blankets that you can get inside. So let's say my river was cold that I fell in. I can get out and I can wrap myself up and everything. And so that's an immediate form of shelter that I have. I've got the original striker for the ferro rod that slides in there. I mean, I could use the back of the knife, if I wanted to. But I also have this rubber band. I just like the rubber band. I wanted to include it. It's thick, heavy duty. You could maybe, make some kind of a slingshot thing, or if you were injured, you could make some kind of splint out of it and, brace yourself, whatever you needed to do. It's just a neat, thick band, and I wanted to include it. So for water, I included, this is like a huge sheet of foil that I folded and compressed and folded and compressed. I could make a cup out of this and drop the little tablets in it and drink water. I could make a bowl in the ground and line it with the foil and then drop a hot rock in there and boil the water that way if I wanted to. So there's my shelter, there's my water. Then for food, I made a small fishing kit. I'll try to hold that still enough for it to focus on. It's got some hooks and string and a couple of jig heads. Now the string I've included is a Spectra line. For those of you who like to fish, you know what I'm talking about. It's a fishing string made of Spectra, so it's 8-pound diameter if it were mono, but it's actually a 30-pound test line, but it's super, super thin. So with a string like that, we can fish with it. We can catch the little tiny fish because it's thin. We can catch bigger fish if we're lucky enough. But it's also strong enough we could tie snares. I've included enough I could secure like a ridge pole for a shelter and not worry about it for short term. I wouldn't rely on it for months of survival in the wilderness. But anyhow, those are the things I've included in my knife. And like I said, I've got the jute twine on here because it burns. It burns really well. And it's a great fire starter. You do have to let it dry though. So after you've got out of your stream, don't rely on this to get you going. It will not work. I tried it. It didn't want to light. Anyhow, so that's where we're at right now. As always, I'll continue to post changes that I make. This is kind of a work in progress. We'll try this out for a while and see if we like it. Thank you all for watching.